My fellow Nerdkins, welcome back to another episode of That's So Nerdy. Today we have another gameplay video for you, and it's going to be between Spirit Boost Elite Vegeta and Piccolo Jr. Evil Reborn. I'm actually really excited to bring this match to you guys because these two decks are two of my pet projects. Especially Piccolo Jr. because he's been around for longer, obviously. But yeah, they're both starter deck leaders, and I've been working really hard with both of them to make them good. And I think I've done pretty well. There are some things I could still do to Piccolo, but I'm still really happy with the build I have already. So, obviously, as you can see, it's me on the left piloting Vegeta, and I've got Tommy on the right piloting Piccolo Jr. And I won the dice roll, so I will be going first. And a lot of people will be surprised about the build that I'm running in Vegeta because it's not anything like any build I've ever seen anyone else run, and I still really like it. I think this engine that I'm running behind it might actually be kind of slept on because it is mostly U7. I'm essentially just trying to just apply pressure. It's kind of like a mid-range aggro deck in the red Vegeta. And then as far as the Piccolo Jr. goes, it's also kind of a mid-rangey deck, which is why we chose them to face against each other. And then I play out Whis first because I don't have a Unison. And then this actually really hurts because I whiff right here, so that doesn't feel good. I almost show the Vegeta to add them to my hand, and then I remember that, oh yeah, it has to be a 4-drop or less, and that Vegeta's a 5-drop, so that definitely doesn't help me. Oh, what Vegeta, you may be asking? The Vegeta counterplay that is a 5-drop but gets reduced to 3 energy on during your opponent's turn. Or no, once you reach a certain amount of energy, I think. Actually, I think that's what it is. Tommy charges a dormant so he can play out Demigra, and that's one of the biggest pieces in this deck because, especially if your opponent's trying to play like a hand control type of thing, they can't just swing into your Unison to gain the benefit of the hand control while not dealing damage to you. Because for those who don't know, Demigra has a permanent ability that if you were to take, or if you were going to lose a marker from an attack, then you can take a life instead. So Tommy uses Assimilate to search out a 2-drop Namekian from the deck, and it's going to be Piccolo driven fight, or Piccolo Jr. driven fight, I should say. So I believe he passes turn here after he plays that Assimilate. And now I finally get to start doing things, and one of the, actually I believe it was the first life I took was actually a Unison, so I'm now able to start getting my deck going. I am having trouble deciding what I'm going to choose to charge though, and I believe I charged the Kaioken Goku. And then pay the 2 to play out my Unison. Come on, there you go. And I mean, it's red, so obviously I'm running the Piccolo Jr. Unison, because especially in this deck, like, why wouldn't you? And then now that I have a Unison, I can awaken, so that's what I do. Take myself down to 5 life. I'm about to. into his lead with my leader and give my Unison double strike because that is my leader's ability. And he takes the 1 damage from my leader swing. Then I believe I swing in with the Unison as I swing in with the Unison as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he takes this damage also. Yes, he takes this damage also. Then I believe I passed him. Yes, indeed I do. Yeah, I've been wanting to showcase my Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta on the channel for a while now. Well, I mean, I guess I do have an older one, but it's really not a good build and nothing like the one I have now. The build I'm running behind it now is just so much better. It's so good at actually being able to control the board and not allow your opponent to just kind of run you over with being able to spam stuff onto their board, or being able to just create this ridiculous board presence. So I'm actually really happy that I'm able to do that. So I use difference in status here and Spirit Boost to marker off so I can play out Surprise Attack Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Which, in my opinion, like, outside of this deck, or anything that's like real Spirit Boost heavy, is a fairly useless card. I mean, it's a 4-drop critical with 15k, but you can free play it if you remove a marker using Spirit Boost. So like I said, if you are running a Spirit Boost heavy strategy, then you can go ahead and use the Vegeta, but outside of Spirit Boost, he's useless. So yeah, he swung with his lead into my lead just so he can get the draw, since I'm awakened and he's not. And now I'm just going through the normal first steps of the turn for Red Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I keep calling him Blue Vegeta. But yeah, charge energy, add a marker to draw another card. So I swing with lead and then give my Unison double strike. He goes ahead and takes the damage. Or no, he doesn't take the damage. He counters with Homicidal Clones, that's right. And me right here, I didn't think about it because he activated that counter. I could have just popped the token with Piccolo. That actually kind of happens later in the game also, except later in the game I actually catch it, and I do it another way for another reason. It looks like I'm going to be doing a misplay later, but it actually isn't. I'm actually, I've got a plan. I didn't play it out exactly how I wanted it to, but I have a plan that I'm gonna try and you'll see it when it comes up. I'll just shut up about the stupid plan. So he awakens and super combos to get out of my double strike swing, because I comboed with Whis to make it a 20k double strike swing. So he awakens and super combos to get up to 25k. Which is nice because I force him to awaken on my turn, so he doesn't get that extra energy from awakening on his turn, because Piccolo Jr. does restand 2 energy when he awakens. So that is really, really strong. Honestly, I'd take that any day over a hybrid leader, because I just think it's so much better to just have that extra energy. Honestly, that's how strong I think energy is in this game. Alright, so he's thinking real hard about what he wants to do. He had pulled a Cunning Strategist from his life and that is part of the boss strategy for this deck. But that would tap him out, so I'm not sure if that's such a good idea. And he decides to proc the leader's ability. Oh, for those who don't know, the leader on the Awakened side, if you pay a green energy, you get to pop one of your opponent's battle cards with 5 energy or less, and then your leader gets a 5k boost for the turn. Which is another reason why I really like this Piccolo Jr. leader, as well as thinking that it really needs a reboot. Like, if any leader should get a reboot in upcoming sets, it should be this Piccolo. And I actually have a video here on the channel explaining why I think Piccolo should get a reboot, and also what I think the changes to the text should be on the reboot. Because with just a little bit of love, this Piccolo Jr. could actually bring green into a relevant place in the meta, instead of just being, I hate to say it, kind of trash. Like, green has a lot of good tools, but the best green strategies are kind of leader locked, I want to say. Like Go Tanks, King Cold, stuff like that. So I charge a Unison, stack a Unison, and then add a marker to draw a card. Then tap 3 to play out Spirit Mentor Vegeta to minus 30k to the Piccolo, which also allows me to play out this Goku. And then he chooses to Charismatic Villain because he thought he could KO my Vegeta, but since it has Deflect and Barrier, and then I counterplay his counterplay with my Yamcha, because I'm just trying to get some more bodies on the board. I want to apply as much pressure as possible. And Tommy actually wanted to play a blue Impulse, but it's my turn still, so he can't wipe my wipe my battle cards off the board with blue Impulse. And I actually think he misses an opportunity later. I may be mistaken about that, but I think he might miss an opportunity later to play blue Impulse. Maybe he didn't have the energy or something along those lines, or he wanted the energy for something else. So yeah, here is the point where I choose not to pop the token with Piccolo's ability, and I don't really think about it until here about what I'm actually trying to do, because as you can see, I have another one-hit wonder Goku in my hand, and he countered my leader swing, so that's where the snafu happened, because I was hoping he wasn't going to counter the leader swing. That way I could activate the battle on the other Goku, because on the one-hit wonder activate battle, if you pay 1 red energy, you can send that card from your drop to your warp, and your opponent's battle card, or your opponent's card, gets minus 5k power. So I do it here, that way I can play out the other one-hit wonder. But unfortunately, because he did activate blocker in response to the Piccolo, the attack does stop as soon as the blocker gets removed from the board. So that was unfortunate. And then he's shocking Death Balls again, but he doesn't have any battle cards for me to KO this time. And actually, I got to use that KO ability in one of the nastiest ways I've ever seen in this game. So just keep your eyes open for that. I'll point out what's gonna happen when it's about to happen, but oh, it felt so good, but so nasty to pull it off, because you know, I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to reveal anything until it actually happens, because it's just gross. It was kind of a feels bad, because like when you make this move, it usually feels really good, because You're alright. I said I was going to stop talking about it, so I'm actually going to stop talking about it now. So, Tommy actually stacks his unison and decides to remove 3 markers. And he's checking, excuse me, sorry about that. He's checking out what my battle cards do. And he's asking, like, what's up with all of them. He knows that Yamcha's just a 15k, and that Goku's a 15k at the moment. So he chooses the Yamcha to KO with the Migra as well as the Vegeta, because the Vegeta is only a 3 cost, so it is still targetable with -2 of Demigra. And now he uses his leader ability to KO my Goku. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed making this gameplay video, because like we were both really able to control each other's boards and make sure that like neither of us really like ran over the other one. As you can see, I do kind of have the advantage with Vegeta, but the ability that Tommy's been presenting to actually just be able to make sure that I don't run him over, it has been really impressive, especially since he's not super familiar with this deck. He's used it one other time prior to this video, I believe, and that was actually in the Mechikabura versus Piccolo Jr. video that is also up on the channel. So if you want to go check that out, you can go take a look at that one as well. And I mean, if you're interested in just seeing content like this in general, you could always smash the like button, hit comment and subscribe, and then push the notification button just so you can see anytime I drop a new video. So now I'm gonna swing with my leader, proc his ability. Tommy's gonna play out Bupo, but this time I use Piccolo's ability to just KO the Bupo, because I was actually pretty frustrated at that. I had a plan, and because he did that, my plan isn't really gonna work, because I had a pretty nasty play in my deck at this moment, and it would have been a sight to behold for sure. But we don't get to play that out, so I mean, it is what it is. And honestly, because he did that, I don't get to do what I was trying to do at all, because my plans change. The reason I was going to be able to do what I wanted to do is because of how low my hand was going to be. But now at the beginning of my next turn, that's not going to be the case anymore, because unless I want to counter and combo off most of everything in my hand, I'm going to be getting resources, and I'm going to have too many cards in my hand to make what I wanted to do actually happen. And what that is I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's a 6-drop red Gohan Adolescence that when you have 3 or less cards in your hand, not including that card, you can play it out for 2 energy instead of 6. And it is a 20, is it 20 or 25? I think it's 25. A 25k double striker that can swing, at battle cards. Can it swing at battle cards in active mode? I think it can. Yeah, it can swing at battle mode cards in active mode, and if it KOs a battle card, it deals 2 damage to your opponent. So that's actually really dirty, especially if your opponent has like just a little 4k on the board, like for example in AOD, the Bobbity that just sits on the board. Fucking bring out the what am I saying? Never mind. I don't remember what I was saying. So I counterplay his Piccolo Cunning Strategist with Yamcha. Well, actually, I counterplayed the Kami's Power Piccolo with the Yamcha. That way I could get both of the abilities or the full use of his ability of minusing 15k to 2 battle cards. And normally the Kami's Power Piccolo would have barrier, so I couldn't target it with Yamcha, but because it was played with Piccolo Cunning Strategist negates the skills of the card that it plays for the turn. So it actually, now that instead of being a 20k double striker that can KO a battle card, it is just a 5k card right now, which really, really saved me a lot. Because that swing would have hurt a lot if he could have gotten the 20k double strike off, honestly. So I use Testing the Opposition to counter out here, lay out the token, he uses Assimilate, and I think that actually, yep, I think that's actually going to finish his turn. Because he's talking about swing with the Kami here, asking if it still has 20k because it had barrier, and then yep, there it is. I remind him that Cunning Strategist negates the skills for the turn of the card that it plays. Alright, so that counter actually was enough to just end his turn, like I was saying. Now I'm on turn 6, and this is honestly longer than this deck wants to go. This deck typically wants to try and kill turn 4, turn 5. Turn 6 is a little long, but with the pieces that I have, it's not super detrimental to go long. I can actually ride out a long game with this, but most of the time the aggro ability doesn't allow me to ride out a long game, because either my opponent is taking the damage so I'm going to win, or they're going to have to come into me because I'm just applying so much pressure that they're having a hard time keeping up. So I proc my Unison's ability to draw a card, swing with Vegeta at the lead for 19, and then combo with Fairweather Fiend, and this is coming up is where that nastiness I was talking about comes from. So he takes the life because Kibito Kai doesn't actually stop the attack, and then he Charismatic Villains. So because now the autos are all go independent, I use Frieza's auto to minus 30k to his Unison, which makes him a target for his Unison, and I minus 30k to his Kibito Kai, and then use my Piccolo to KO the Kibito Kai because it is now at a 10k and an eligible target for Piccolo. So that was just disgusting. That was the gross move that I was talking about, and that's honestly what won me the game, because if I wasn't able to do that and he was able to apply pressure next turn, I wasn't making it out. And this is where I combo out to kill him. And that's that. That was Piccolo versus Vegeta. If you like what you saw, go ahead and smash that like button, comment, and subscribe. Tickle the little bell so you can get notified whenever I post, and stay nerdy.